This is the 4th grade ESS News Studios, and welcome to our news show.
Have you ever wondered how the Brighton Memorial Library came to be?
And believe it or not, folks, that's why we're here.
Well, the library actually used to be a memorial.
It was funded in April of 1953 by Dorothy Compton, Leroy C. Percy, Sean C. McCurdy, Philip M. Liebschatz, and Charles G. Rittenhouse.
The library opened in a 22-foot by 36-foot room in the Brighton Town Hall as a memorial dedicated to the Brighton men who served in World War II.
Finally, on May 25, 1973, the New York Board of Regents decided to make it a public site.
The library kept growing and growing over the years, and in the early 1960s, an expansion increased the library from 796 square feet to 1,968 square feet.
Another expansion in 1979 brought the library to 2,000 square feet.
Gosh, that's big. Finally, the final expansion occurred in 1999, bringing the library to where it is today at 24,000 square feet.
Thank you for watching our 4th grade ESS News Show. Come back soon.
Oh, hi there. I'm Yasmin from ESS News, reporting from the Susan B. Anthony House. Today's topic is Susan Brownell Anthony. Miss Anthony was raised in a Quaker family that believed in freedom, justice, and equality for everyone. She is a hero to all women and girls because she started and helped progress the women's rights movement. The women's rights movement is a protest. It is something women did to respectfully fight about equality. Miss Anthony was born on February 15, 1820, in Adams, Massachusetts. At age 27, she began working on women's rights to vote in her house in Rochester, New York. She knew that women didn't have the same rights as men, so she decided she would make things fair for one and all. She traveled around the USA giving speeches, sometimes 2 to 3 times a day. Traveling back then took much longer than these days. The traveling options included walking, donkey, horse and cart, and sometimes by train. It was also very rare for women to travel without men. In 1848, the right of women to vote was declared at a women's rights convention in Seneca Falls, New York, about 50 miles from here. There, Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Lucretta Mott declared that voting was a woman's basic right and the opportunity to gaining other rights. 3 years later, Elizabeth Cady Stanton met Miss Anthony and Frederick Douglass. They worked together to fight for fair laws and opportunities for everyone. Soon they became the force in the struggle for women's suffrage. In 1869, the Women's Suffrage Association gave the 14th Amendment to Congress 40 times in a row, but it did not pass. The 14th Amendment states that all U.S. citizens have the right to vote, have freedom, and own property. In 1872, Anthony and many other women around the nation voted in the presidential election. 2 weeks later, Anthony was arrested in her home parlor for voting. People across the U.S. became aware and tried to help work towards women's rights to vote. In 1906, Miss Anthony was at a national suffrage convention in Baltimore, Maryland. She was then headed to New York City for a banquet to be given in honor of her 86th birthday. However, she became very ill and rushed home. Sadly, she passed away in her home of heart disease and pneumonia on March 13th. Several hours before passing away, Miss Anthony said, "To think I have had more than 60 years of hard struggle for a little liberty, and then to die without it seems so cruel." Miss Anthony had dedicated 60 years of her life to women's rights for fair and equal treatment, for the right to vote, and so much more. She had so desperately wanted to see women legally voting. However, she never had the chance because she passed away 14 years too soon. Women were not legally allowed to vote until 1920, when the 19th Amendment was finally passed. Women had won the right to vote. After Anthony's death, the quote, "failure is impossible," became a motto of other suffragists. 2017 marked the historic anniversary of women winning the right to vote in New York State. The city of Rochester celebrated this historic anniversary with many different programs, including 7 buttons you can collect by visiting a variety of places such as RIT, U of R, the Rochester Museum of Science Center, and the Central Library. For more information, visit the Susan B. Anthony House on Madison Street or visit rocksuffrage.org. Again, this is Yasmin reporting live from the Susan B. Anthony House. Join us next time on ESS News.
Hello, I'm Noah, and good afternoon, and welcome to ESS News Studio. I'm sure you have heard of the Rochester baseball and soccer teams, the Red Wings and Rhinos, right? Well, the Red Wings are part of the Northern Division and were the affiliate of St. Louis Cardinals for 32 years. Their previous names were Rochester Tribe, Rochester Colts, Rochester Hustlers, and Rochester Broncos. Now, the Rochester Rhinos were founded in 1996 and play in the Capelli Stadium. Their team colors are black, white, and green. They are coached by Bob Lilly. Moving on to John.
Hello, I am John, and I will tell you a few facts about the Amerks and the Nighthawks. First, I will tell you about the Amerks. They were founded in 1956. They were owned and operated by the famous Buffalo Bills, and they were the fourth oldest franchise. Now on to the Nighthawks. They are known as the K-Hawks. They were founded in 1995, and their colors are teal and purple. That's all, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Good afternoon, people. This is Ben from ESS Studios here to bring you a brief history of Jell-O. Jell-O is a treat that all of you have probably made or eaten, so all that you probably know about Jell-O is that it is sweet and you love it, but there is more than meets the eye with Jell-O. In fact, there is a lot more than meets the eye with Jell-O. So that's why I'm here to tell you some more about this delicious treat. So Jell-O basically began as a dish for the rich. Women for decades have consumed Jell-O. It was also a smart way to preserve fish and meat. Then sales declined from the 60s to the 80s, and General Foods introduced the Jiggler, a commercial for Jell-O of kids eating Jell-O and explaining the good parts about Jell-O. People started eating Jell-O so much that Utah's legislature named Jell-O Utah's official snack. So that's all for today. Ben from ESS Studios signing off.
Hey, I didn't see you there.
Hi, my name is Lily.
And my name is Bilana, the ESS girl.
Welcome to ESS. Today we are going to be talking about Frederick Douglass.
If you don't know who Frederick Douglass was, he was an abolitionist.
That means he was an opponent of slavery.
Frederick Douglass chose his name from a character in the book Sir Walter Scott's The Lady in the Lake.
One of Frederick Douglass's very famous poems is "It's easier to build strong children than repair broken men."
In 1847, Frederick Douglass escaped from slavery from Maryland to Rochester, New York.
Frederick Douglass had 2 sons. His oldest was Lewis Henry. He was born in 1840 and died in 1906. And sadly, his second dad died when he was 5 years old. His name is Frederick Douglass Jr. He was born in 1842.
Those are all our facts about Frederick Douglass. Thank you for watching ESS News.
Bye. Have a great day.
And night.
Oh, hi there, I'm Eli. Good afternoon, and welcome to ESS News. I would like to tell you about Highland Hospital. Highland Hospital was first called Hanneman Hospital. It was named after its founder, Dr. Samuel Christian Frederick Hanneman. They opened their doors over 100 years ago in 1889. They are the first hospital in the USA to have a clinical chemistry lab. They're also the first hospital in the United States to treat diabetes with insulin. They're the first hospital in Rochester to allow fathers present in the delivery room. They're a medium-sized hospital for a city. They have over 2,500 employees. I interviewed my dad, a nephrologist at Highland Hospital. He said that one of his favorite things to do was to figure out what's wrong with the kidney function and try to fix the situation. He thinks Highland Hospital is a good hospital if you have a for common procedures. He thinks this because since there are less patients it is more personalized care. He thinks that he likes Highland Hospital a lot. And the way to get more information is to go to the Highland Hospital webpage.
Welcome to 4th grade ESS. Have you ever wondered who Susan B. Anthony really was? She was a women's rights activist.
Susan Brownell Anthony was born on February 15, 1820 in Adams, Massachusetts, but later moved to Rochester, New York.
In 1862, Susan's father passed away.
In 1872, Susan B. Anthony was arrested for voting and fined $100.
But she never paid the fine. In 1880, Susan's mother passed away. Unfortunately, in 1906, Susan B. Anthony passed away.
Finally, in 1920, women got the right to vote.
Here are some more facts about Susan B. Anthony. Susan's parents would not let her play, sing, or paint as a young girl.
Susan was a teacher for 15 years. She earned $2.50 a week.
Men were paid 4 times as much money as women for the same job. That's $10 a week. When Susan was young, she went to a district school.
One day she came home upset because her male instructor wouldn't teach her math.
Many people believed that some school subjects were too hard for a girl's brain.
Susan believed that women were just as smart as men.
That's all for 4th grade ESS.